This is Terranol with Twisted Mesquite Land and Cattle. Today we're doing a review video with Shriek. This is his 6th week in our program. We're going to go over what we've been working on, mostly over the last 2 weeks, but especially this past week. So we've already done our groundwork with him. Today he's been doesn't take a whole lot of groundwork before we can just go and get on him. He's doing really well with all of that stuff. Just being able to get on him, saddle him, get on him, and go. We're I think the first of the week, or into last week, I put the snaffle in his mouth, just where he was having some, or I just felt it was better to. The signal would be a lot smoother, a lot more simple than just riding him around in the halter. He was getting kind of confused. So I went ahead and put him in the snaffle a little quicker than I might some horses. Right here we're just working on our flexion and our one rein stops. Today for some reason he's not wanting to get off of that signal a whole lot, and so he's kind of stiff and resisting this bit a little bit. So we're just working on that. Only way to get it better is spend some time working on it. So I have my feet on him, pushing him forward, asking him to walk around, and when I take my feet off and do our one rein stop here, I expect him to stop and get soft. Waiting on him to come all the way and put slack in that rein. Putting slack in that rein is his job right here. There. There I'm gonna go. I bet this next week, now that we've gotten some of these buttons on him, we put him in the snaffle, we're getting our stop pretty good on him, and he knows when to go, when to take steps forward, and we can kind of steer him around. It'll be time to put him in the big arena. So we're kind of doing some things, preparing him for that. One of those things is, like I said, being able to get him moving, get him flowing out. We can do that at a walk and a trot. And then when I take my feet off, do a one rein stop and bring him to a stop right here. And again, waiting for him to get soft. Put slack in that rein. There. There. We can trot off both directions, and so those things we need to have on him before we take him out in the big pen. Make sure he's traveling freely on loose rein, and then I want him to follow the edge of this round pen, because we're going to do this in that big pen as well. We're following the fence, and he's just following that fence and traveling, and kind of turn him into the fence a little bit and get going the other way. think once this horse gets some muscle and some condition, it's going to help him a lot. He's going to be able to travel really well. He naturally wants to travel really well. He's athletic. And he's good-minded. You know, he doesn't get too worked up, too concerned about anything. But at the same time, he'll move his feet and put some effort in. Today, he's a little more lethargic, but it's not a bad thing. So another thing we're starting to work on is yielding these hindquarters. I want to get a couple steps and then have him get soft, put slack in that rein. Again, just waiting on him to put slack in that rein right there. I want this horse to be able to move his body. I want this horse to be able to move his body and then get soft. So we're gonna, I'm gonna show we need to work on this. Like on the ground, he gets pretty soft right there. On the saddle, he's getting pretty stiff. So I'm just gonna bump this a little bit, add some urgency, have him get off of it a little bit there, because he was bracing into it a bunch and just there's no need for that right now. Bump it, and I kind of want to make sure I do it on the ground just to introduce it to him before there. See, that was better. Another thing, I wondered if he kind of touched this rope a little bit with his hand or with his mouth, so kind of started him a little bit. Sometimes, until they get used to that rope, sometimes you don't really, they don't want to get as soft because they're concerned about that rope. So the same on the ground. I'm going to encourage him, just going to add some urgency there until he gets soft. There, good. And I'm just bumping that bit, just adding some urgency, because he's just wanting to push into it right there. And I know that he will give a lot of effort, and he does a good job with it generally, so we're just reminding him of it. And part of it, he's figuring out that pressure, and that was part of the reason I put him in the snaffle, because when it went to, when we came to flexing him around, he was kind of getting hung up and not sure how to come all the way around from side to side. So this snaffle will kind of make that signal more clear, and so he'll get to understanding it there. So that's big improvement already. So he's already following that nose better right there when I pick this rein up. And again, I'm gonna go back to working on yielding our hindquarters, getting him to move that hindquarters around there. Do it from this side. And this stuff's good for him. He's so big and lanky. He's having to really figure out how to keep his balance keep his there, and move his body and stay soft at the same time. See right there, he just has to figure out how to move his body and stay balanced. There. Stand up here. And he'll figure it out. There. There. So we definitely have some more work to do there. But he's progressing really well. Traveling out good. And just kind of introducing him to a bunch of this groundwork, and introducing him to the groundwork and introducing him to more body control stuff. So anyway, that's about where we are with him so far. He's doing really well. You know, like I said, he's getting to where you can pretty much catch him, do some groundwork, and saddle him and go. He's coming along really well. So that'll be our review for Streak for this 2 weeks. We'll see you on the next one.